Did you hear about the semicolon that broke the law? Yeah, he was given 2 consecutive sentences. Let's put them together. The world tongue twister champion just got arrested. I hear they're going to give him a really tough sentence. Best thing about the good old days is that we were neither good nor old. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well. I've just written a song about tortillas. Actually, it's more of a rap. I have some state jokes. These are for people from different states. Okay. Alabama. When a visitor from a town in Alabama spotted this dog attacking a boy, he grabbed the animal and he throttled it with his bare hands. And this really impressed reporter saw the incident, told him the next day's headline's going to say, "Valiant local man saves child by killing vicious animal." "I'm not from this town," says the hero. "Oh, well, then," says the reporter, "I'll say it's Alabama man saves child by killing dog." Actually," says the man, "I'm from New Hampshire." "Oh," reporter grumbled. "In that case, the headline's going to say, Yankee kills family pet."
That's good.
This Alaskan's on a trail in Anchorage, and the prosecutor leaned menacingly toward him and asked, "Where were you on the night of October to April?" I guess if you don't live in Anchorage, Alaska, you don't get it. All right. The Los Angeles Police Department, LAPD, the FBI, and the CIA want to see who is best at catching perps. So a rabbit is released in the forest. Each of them has to catch it. The CIA goes in, place an animal informant throughout the forest, question all the plants and material witnesses. After months of extensive investigation, they conclude rabbits do not exist. FBI goes in. After 2 weeks with no leads, they burn the forest, killing everything in it, including the rabbit. LAPD goes in. They come out 2 hours later, dragging a bruised mountain lion behind them. The mountain's lion yelling out, okay, I'm a rabbit. I'm a goddamn rabbit." You know how you know when you're in the presence of a real Coloradian? He carries his $3,000 mountain bike on top of his $500 car. This is how Chicago got started. A bunch of people in New York said, "Gee, I'm really enjoying the crime and poverty, but it just isn't cold enough here." Yeah, let's go. What's the difference between Indiana sports fans and puppies?
Puppies, I don't know.
Eventually, the puppies will grow up and stop whining so much. And one spring day, I was taking the roll in my class at our local tech college, and one of the sun worshippers was absent. I said, "Cindy isn't going to be here this afternoon?" And this young woman in the front row says, "Oh, she went home to lay in the sun." And trying to correct the grammar without embarrassing her before the class, I whispered, "Lie." And she goes, "Okay. Cindy got sick and went home." Oh, shit. I jumped off the stage while I was doing that. It was so exciting. It was so exciting. Right.
You got too worked up.
Yeah, I did. Really did. Oh, boy. I'm sorry. Boys and girls. Yeah, I have a new computer, and if you just even touch it, it's very sensitive. It's kind of like my husband. Oh. All right, so did you hear about the weekly poker game with Vasco da Gama, Christopher Columbus, Leif Erikson, and Francisco Pizarro? They can never seem to beat the Straits of Magellan. A hiker stumbles on a golden lamp in the forest, and he rubs it, and out pops a real-life genie. "In return for freeing me," says the genie, "I will grant you 3 wishes." "Oh, I want 1,000,000 more wishes," the hiker says. Rule number 1, no asking for more wishes. And the hiker thinks for a minute and goes, well, then I want 1 million more genies. Yay.
That's someone who's thinking.
Hey, did you hear about the new restaurant that just opened? It's called Karma. There's no menu. Get what you deserve. Bastard. I'm going to poison. This weeping woman bursts into her hypnotherapist's office and she goes, Doc, I have not been faithful to my husband for 15 years, but yesterday I was faithful for 15, but yesterday I broke the trust and I had an affair. The guilt's killing me. I want to forget that it ever happened. And the hypnotherapist shakes his head and goes, oh my God, not again. Stop. Yeah, one time a guy handed me a picture and he goes, here's a picture of me when I was younger. And I'm like, every frickin' picture of you is when you were younger, dork. Yeah, when he found out he was going to inherit a fortune when his sickly father died, he decided he needed to find a wife that he could share his fortune with. And one night at an investment meeting, he spotted the most gorgeous woman he'd ever seen. Her beauty just took his breath away. I might just look like an ordinary guy, he says, but in just a few years, my dad's going to die and I'm going to get $200 million. And the woman asked for his business card, and 3 days later, she became his stepmother.
Okay.
An elderly couple, they were celebrating their 60th anniversary, and the couple had married as childhood sweethearts. They moved back to their old neighborhood after they retired. And holding hands, they walked back to their old school. It wasn't locked. So they went in, and they found the old desk they shared where Andy carved, I love you, Sally. And on their way back home, a bag of money fell out of an armored car, practically landing on their feet, and Sally picked it up. And she didn't know what to do with it, so she took it home. So they counted all the money. It was $50,000. And Andy goes, we got to give this back. And Sally says, finders keepers, and put the money bag back and hid it in the attic. And the next day, 2 FBI guys were canvassing the hood, looking for the money, and knocked on the door. Pardon me, either you find a bag that fell out of an armored car yesterday? Sally says, nope. Andy says, she's lying. She hid it up in the attic. Sally says, don't believe him. He's getting senile. The agents turn to Andy and start to question him. Tell us the story from the beginning. Andy goes, well, when Sally and I were walking home from school yesterday. The first FBI guy turns to his partner and says, we're out of here.
Right.
The husband had just finished reading a new book entitled, You Can Be the Man of Your House. So he storms over to his wife in the kitchen and goes, from now on, you need to know that I'm the man of the house and my word is the law. You're going to make me a gourmet meal tonight. And when I'm finished eating the meal, you're going to serve me a sumptuous dessert. After dinner, you're going to go upstairs with me and, well, you get the point. Later, you're going to draw me a bath so I can relax. You'll wash my back, towel me, dry me, bring me my robe. Then you'll massage my feet and hands. And tomorrow, guess who's going to dress me and comb my hair? And without even looking up from her morning paper, the wife says, I think the funeral director might be my first guess.
Oh, I was going to say emergency ward nurse.
Close.
Yeah.
So 2 old guys are pushing their carts around Walmart and they collide. First old guy says to the second, sorry about that, I'm looking for my wife and I guess I wasn't paying attention where I was going. Second old guy goes, that's okay, it's a coincidence. I'm looking for my wife too and I can't find her and I'm kind of getting desperate. First old guy says, maybe I can help you find her. What's she look like? Second guy says, well, she's 27, tall, red hair, blue eyes, long legs, wearing short shorts. What's your wife look like? And the first guy says, don't matter, let's go look for yours. Come on.
Hell with mine.
Yeah, Ole and Lena are sitting down to their usual cup of morning coffee, listening to the weather report coming over the radio, and it says, there will be 3 to 5 inches of snow today, and a snow emergency's been declared. You must park your cars on the odd-numbered side of the street. So Ole gets up from his coffee and he goes, oh, geez, okay. 2 days later, again, they both sitting down to their cups of morning coffee, and the weather forecast is be 2 to 4 inches of snow today, and a snow emergency's been declared. You must park your cars on the even number to the street. So Ole gets up from his coffee and goes, oh, geez, okay. 3 days later, again, they're sitting down with their cups of coffee, and the weather forecast is there'll be 6 to 8 inches of snow today, and a snow emergency's been declared. You must park your cars on the... And then the power went out. Oh, he didn't even get the rest of the instructions. He's like to Lena, geez, what am I going to do now, Lena? And Lena says, oh, Ole, just leave the car in the garage. Maybe. So old man goes to the wizard to ask him if he can remove a curse that he's been living with for 40 years. The wizard says, well, maybe, but you'll have to tell me the exact words that were used to put the curse on you. And the man, without hesitating, says, it was, I now pronounce you man and wife.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This man had put some flowers on the grave of his dearly departed mom and started back toward his car when he had his attention diverted to another man kneeling at a grave. And the man seemed to be praying with profound intensity and kept going, why did you have to die? Why did you have to die? Why did you have to die? The first man approaches him and says, sir, I don't want to interfere with your private grief, but this demonstration of pain is more than I've ever seen. Who are you mourning for? A child? A parent? And the mourner took a moment to collect himself and said, it's my wife's first husband. Oh. I'm stuck with this guy's reading a paper and the ad catches his eye. It says $500 Porsche new. And he thought, wow, nobody's selling a Porsche for $500. And he thought maybe it was a joke, but he's like, well, it's worth a shot. So he went to the house of the lady selling the Porsche. She led him into the garage, and sure enough, there's a almost brand new Porsche there. He's like, wow, can I take it for a test drive? She's going, sure. And unlike what he had expected, it ran perfectly. When he got back to the house, he asked her, why are you selling me this great Porsche for $500? And the lady says, ha, my husband just ran off with his secretary, and he told me, you can have the house and the furniture, just sell my Porsche and send me the money. No. Well, this is what he's getting.
Love it.
Ranger and an Indian are walking in a national park, and the Indian knelt down and put his ear to the ground, and after a few seconds he stood up and goes, buffalo, come. Ranger says, can you hear him? Indian says, no, ears sticky. I love that. So the Italian lover, a virile, middle-aged Italian gentleman named Guido, is relaxing in his favorite bar in Rome, and he managed to attract a spectacular young blonde woman. Things progressed to the point where he led her back to his apartment, and after some small talk, they retired to his bedroom where he rattled her senseless. And after a pleasant, he asked her with a smile, so you finish? And she paused and goes, frowns, says, no. And surprised, Guido reached for her, and rattling resumed, and this time she thrashed about wildly, and there were screams of passion. Sex finally ended. Again, Guido smiles and goes, you finish? And again, short pause, a smile, cuddled closer, and softly said, no. He's stunned, but he's damned if he's going to leave this woman unsatisfied. So Guido reached for the woman again, using the last of all the strength he had. He barely managed it, but they ended together, screaming, bucking, clawing, ripping the bed sheets. And exhausted, Guido fell on his back, gasping, barely able to turn his head. He looked at her eyes, and he said, you finish? And goes, no, I Danish. This man lost an arm when his golf cart rolled over him on a downslope, so he got really depressed because he loved to play golf. And one day, in despair, he decided to commit suicide and end it all. So he got on an elevator, and he went to the top of a building to jump off. And he's standing on the ledge, looking down. He saw this man on the sidewalk skipping along, whooping and kicking up his heels. And he looks closer, and he sees the man didn't have any arms, none at all. And he started thinking, what am I doing up here feeling sorry for myself? I still got one good arm to do things with. And he thought, there goes a man with no arms, skipping down the sidewalk, so happy, going on with his life. So he hurries down to the sidewalk, and he caught up with a man with no arms, and he told him how glad he was to see him because he had lost one of his arms and felt useless. He was going to kill himself. And then he thanked him for saving his life, and he said he knew he could make it with one arm if this guy could go with no arms. And the man with no arms began dancing and whooping and kicking up his heels again. And he asked the man, why are you so happy anyway? And the guy says, I'm not happy. My fucking balls itch. That's it for the night, boys and girls.
Great.
Beautiful.
Give it up for WyNott.